Thank you so much for joining me today to get ready with me in 1885. Pretty much every major movement in fashion in the Victorian period starts in the same way, with a pair of combinations. This is the layer that's worn closest to the skin, so there's nothing underneath, and it is used to protect you from your corset, but also to protect the corset from you. But first, now is probably a good time to talk about shoes and socks because it can be a little bit difficult to bend at the waist after you've already put your corset on. I've actually chosen to move the buttons on these boots so that they fit just a little bit more closely around my ankle. This would have been common practice at the time, and you will definitely see antique pairs where it's very obvious where the buttons used to be. A button hook is a tool that also comes in handy right around now. They are used to give you a little bit of extra leverage when you're buttoning something that's especially tight. And now we're ready for the corset. Corsets from this era serve a few different functions, and they definitely act a little bit like a modern bra would by supporting the bust. They of course also give you that really nice curvy shape that was fashionable during this time period. And most importantly, they also support the weight of all the skirts that I'm about to put on, of which the first of many is this petticoat, which is useful for shape, modesty, and of course warmth. I've actually chosen a winter outfit to show you today, so the warmth aspect is going to be especially important. Next is this little half cage crinoline, which is called a lobster tail. The lobster tail provides the exaggerated silhouette that was fashionable at the time. Believe it or not, this is actually not the first time that fake butts were in style. In the late 1700s, false rumps were kind of having a moment. Next, we put on another petticoat, which is definitely going to come in handy for warmth, but the more important aspect of this petticoat is that it helps to hide all of the ridges in the lobster tail that would otherwise be visible if we didn't put anything over it. This is a corset cover, which serves more or less the same purpose as the second petticoat. It just smooths out the line in inside out. It just smooths out the line in the corset so that it's not obvious when you put on the final layer. Next, we've got the first of a couple of outerwear pieces, so an underskirt and an overskirt. The underskirt is made a little bit longer in the back to accommodate for the lobster tail, and the overskirts are just like cute drapery things that were popular at the time. And then we've got a bodice. One-piece dresses were actually not really the norm at the time, even though everything is kind of made to look as though it's all one piece. As a result, mixing and matching your clothes was also not really much of a thing at the time either. Generally speaking, a set was worn all at the same time, and they didn't really mix and match their clothes, although they did sometimes have an extra piece to go with the set so that it could be worn on more than one social occasion. So example, long sleeves for daytime, and then maybe another bodice with short sleeves for nighttime. We're actually not done yet because of course we would need gloves. These were for warmth but also propriety. A woman would not have left the house without her gloves. It's also considered bad manners to put your gloves on as you were leaving the house. You should always put them on inside the home before stepping out into the street. And finally, a hat. This ensemble would have been typical for middle or upper middle class women living in the Western world between 1883 and 1889. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tell me what era you think I should do next down in the comments. And I'm sure you're wondering how on earth I sit in one of these bustles. Bustle is collapsible, so you can just subtly lift it up so that it collapses neatly and stacks like an accordion.